10:30 am, Detective Blaine Scat arrives on the scene. "What have we got?" "Well, it looks like this one might be connected," said the patrolman standing next to the crime scene tape. Blaine investigates the maze of technicians and forensic teams and spots his partner Chip Thompson. "Blaine, this doesn't make sense. The only lead that we have is that the deceased Pamela Smith and Kimberly Swanson knew one another. And the only clue on the scene are the fibers found with the body." Blaine forensics feel that the fibers are consistent, however, until they bring the fibers to the lab, we won't know for sure. Blaine observes the mangled body, contorted in the most unsettling position. 40 years ago. "Thank you, Daddy, thank you, Mommy." "Happy birthday, Karen. What will you name him?" "I'm gonna call him Bear," Karen said with a smile. "But he is a bear." Karen's mom and dad shared a laugh. The other children sat and had some cake while looking on as Karen opened her gifts. The birthday party was a great day and all the kids seemed to be having fun. Karen is the only child of Peter and Sharon Toyle. Peter is a landscaper, while Sharon is a nurse at the Billings Day Hospital. Together they bought a small home in a suburban community near the hospital and Karen's school. They had Karen a few years after they were married, just before Peter opened his own landscaping company. "Ouch!" Karen screamed as she turned away from a hand that was pulling on her hair. "Who's gonna save you, that stuffed toy?" All the girls laughed and then walked into the classroom. "Karen, are you okay?" "Pamela, I want to see you after class," said Miss Townsend. "But I didn't do anything, Miss Townsend." "Tell her, Karen, we were only playing around." Miss Townsend then looked over and said, "Karen, I would like to see you as well." "What happened today in school?" Karen's mother asked as she pulled out of the school parking area. "Nothing, Mom." Karen looked ahead as she put her book bag into the back seat and sat Bear on her lap. "Well, I want you to know, Karen, that you can talk to me or your dad," as she placed her hand on top of Karen's. Sharon ran through her errands and when they arrived home, Peter was working on a machine by the garage. "Hi, Daddy," Karen said as she and her mom walked through the garage. "Karen, you go on inside and put your things away." "Hi, babe, what's up?" "Karen, I think that she has been getting bullied by some of the other kids at school." "Well, what did your teacher tell you?" "She said that when she confronted the student, Karen said they were only playing around." "I will have her help me with some of the mulch for the yard and I will have a talk with her," as he placed a kiss on her lips and a pat on the ass as she turned towards the door. Page 1. Present day. Detective Blaine wore jeans and is known for wearing baseball caps, although he never saw a baseball game. In high school, he was an all-state running back who injured his knee during the annual crosstown rival game, played on Thanksgiving. This prevented him from receiving a scholarship, so he attended the local community college where he would obtain a degree in criminal science. Detective Blaine, we have another match regarding the fibers, however. There was no DNA which my associates and I cannot figure out. Hopsmeyer is the chief forensics officer, and he is usually the person with answers. You must be kidding, you have seen these crime scenes, haven't you? Well, yes, and I will admit that there was a lot of activity and there should have been DNA left behind. So, we are scratching our heads with this case. Hopsmeyer, are you telling me that we are chasing after something that is not human? Blaine said with sarcasm. Hello, Blaine. Can you meet me at Billings Day Elementary School? I believe that we have located a teacher that knew all the victims. Chip Thompson is a former military police officer who came back to Billings Day to help the youths in the community. Chip understands the streets and he grew up in the rougher neighborhoods in Billings Day. Detective Blaine, I think we have something. Hopsmeyer said with a smile of relief. We believe the fibers were from a stuffed toy. Are you telling me that we are looking for a suspect who brings a stuffed toy with him to commit these violent acts? It appears to be that way. All the fibers are consistent, and all are a match to a single stuffed toy. My associates are now attempting to learn the specifics of this stuffed toy. But this can take some time. Well, let me know when you have something new. I need to get down to the elementary school. 30 years ago. Peter's business is growing, and with that type of growth, means more equipment. Pete, we are running out of room. Some days I can't even open the car door. Sharon said with understanding. Then I think that it's time to start looking for a bigger house, Peter responded. Sharon had a smile from ear to ear and gave Peter the biggest hug. Later that week, the real estate agent placed a for sale sign on the front lawn. Karen, I need for you to come with Mommy. Daddy is going to meet us at the house. But Mommy, we are home. No dear, we are looking at a new house and it's bigger and you will have more space for all of your toys. Will I have to go to a new school? Karen asked her mother. Yes, but you will still be able to see your friends. Welcome, Peter and Sharon. Let me show you the outside property before we go inside. The real estate agent looked like he had just finished high school. Rather nerdy, but he came highly recommended. Mommy, can I play on the swings? Sharon looked at the agent and the agent responded. The playground is a part of this property. Pete, I'll catch up with you in a bit, as Karen ran over to the swings. The house has all the new amenities and there is also an in-ground pool in the backyard. Page 2. The master bedroom has a walk-in closet and a sauna overlooking the tree line, but I think that you should see it for yourself. The house is so beautiful, Pete. There's even a spare room that I want to convert into my office. This way we won't have to be crowding one another. What do you think, Karen? Do you like the house? Yes, Daddy, I have my own playground and me and Mommy can go swimming. What about your friends? Can they swim too? Sharon asked. Yes, Bear said he likes the pool and all of the trees. Well, I guess the only thing left is to talk price and place the bid. The asking price is $350,000.00, but I think that we can work the price because the owners will be here for another month, the agent replied. That's great. You already know what our budget is, so let us know what you come up with. I will be calling you in a few days. Have a good day, Mr. and Mrs. Toyle. After playing on the swings and touring the new house, Karen was fast asleep in the back seat. I'm concerned, Pete. Karen is almost in high school, and she needs to make real friends. Sharon, there is nothing wrong with our baby. She enjoys time with you and she's always helping me around the house. Don't worry, she will grow tired of us, but until then? I don't want to hear you crying when she doesn't spend enough time with you. I guess with the move, I kinda wished that she made friends with some of the kids from junior high school, because she went through elementary school with them. Peter reaches over to hold Sharon's hand. She smiles. The recess bell rings, and the children are walking in a single file towards the outdoor play area. Hi, Karen. Do you want to play kickball with us? We need one more person. Kelly is a girl who everyone got along with. No, Kelly, she is not playing with us. She should go back and play with her imaginary friend, Pamela shouted as the two approached. Karen is my friend and I asked her to play, so if she can't play, then I won't play either. It's okay, Kelly, I will just be in the way. This would be the first time that Bear would make himself known. As Karen made her way over to the benches to sit and watch the others play. Alone and by herself. Hi, Karen. At first, she turned to look at the students playing behind the benches, believing that it was one of them. It's me, Karen. Bear, forget those kids. Whenever you want to play, I am here. Karen, wake up. Karen, wake up. Are you okay? Karen looks up at the school nurse in wonder, hearing her mother in the distant background. What happened to my daughter? You were supposed to be watching her. Are you okay, baby? Mrs. Toyle, the teacher, said that a student reported that she was sleeping on the benches. That's when I received the call. So, when you discovered the blood and the bruising on her head, at what point did you not take her to a hospital? The injury does not require sticks and she was coherent when I reached the area. I believe that the ice and antibiotics will be all that a hospital would provide. Now how this happened, the guidance counselor is speaking to the children as we speak. However, so far, we think that one of the students was playing while throwing rocks, and we believe one of the rocks struck Karen. Page 3. Pamela, you threw that rock. Karen did nothing to you, Kelly said angrily. It wasn't me, it was Abigail, and why do you care about her? Because she did nothing to you and your friends have been doing this even in elementary school. Well, she won't have to worry about that because she is going to a new school next week. Good riddance. And I don't like her. Karen, are you okay? What happened? As Sharon held her hand. I was sitting on the bench and the kids were playing. That's what I remember. How is your head? Do you feel dizzy? No, Mommy, I'm just tired. That's good, baby. We are going home, and Mommy will make you something to eat, and you can get some rest. Mrs. Toyle, I'm going to give you a prescription and some extra dressings for the wound. Be sure to check on Karen if you feel that she is more tired than usual. Take her to the hospital for further observation, but she should be okay. I know who threw the rock, and they will never hurt you again. Why, Bear, did I do something wrong? Karen spoke in a small voice. No, Karen, you did not do anything wrong. Some people are just bad. Bear, when will I have friends? Kelly wanted to play with me, and the other kids got mad at her. You have friends, Karen. Kelly is your friend, then your mom and dad. Are they not your friends? But they are my parents, and I don't want to get Kelly in trouble. What about me? I'm your friend. You are my best friend, Bear. Karen hugs Bear, then falls asleep. Who is this Abigail? The school gave me a list of the students involved, and I'm starting with her father first. Pete, just wait and let's think this through. Karen might face more bullying if we react incorrectly. The school has set up a meeting with all the parents, including us. Now you and I need to figure this thing out beforehand. Well, it's a good thing that she will be attending a different school next year, but we will address those parents. Present day. Forget about meeting me at the school. Blaine, they found another body. Chip, I just received the call. I'm almost there. Same MO, except this body was moved from the original crime scene. But the other body wasn't moved. Are you sure there is a connection to our case? I'm afraid so, Blaine. Forensics found fibers that possibly match. So why this body? What do you mean, Blaine? Why move this body? If the killer was successful with the other body and didn't require moving it, why this one? Chip, Blaine, yes, there is a match on the fibers, and to answer the $1 billion question, no DNA except the victim. Now you're pulling my chain, Hopsmeyer. I have been on this force for over 15 years. In all my experience, I have never encountered a case where a body had been moved from the original crime scene and no clue was left behind. Time. What, Chip? Time is why the body was moved. That makes a lot of sense, considering that this body has been overly mutilated. As if the killer wanted time with this individual, Hopsmeyer responded. Wait a minute, are you saying that our suspect took this kill personally, and not the other? Blaine throws his hands in the air. Page 4. Yes, this victim has significantly more injuries than the scratches. or scrapes that appear to be on the front and backside of this victim. As to where the other body only had injuries to the front, Hopsmeyer offers a pondering look. This changes things, and our jobs become that much harder. Not only are we looking for a person with no DNA, but the suspect is also walking around with a stuffed toy, and nobody has seen this individual. Blaine, it's a bear. What we are looking for, a bear, like the bear in the woods? No, Blaine, the bear is a stuffed animal, and the reason it took so long to find a match is because the company that made these bears is no longer in business. In fact, the company closed their doors over 35 years ago. Now we can make sense out of this. Talk to me, Blaine. All roads are leading back to over 50 years and possibly more. Chip, I need to find that teacher today, and I need you to investigate cold cases. Dating back 50 years, see if there are any cases like our case. 20 years ago. Karen, hurry up, the mall will be closing by the time we get there. Kelly, I'm almost done and it's only 2 p.m. The stores will be okay. Kelly's parents purchased a car for their daughter after she completed a driver's safety class and was accepted into Billings State University. Let's go, girl. Tim will be there when we get there, Kelly. And that's why you are taking so long? How do you even know if Cypher is working today? Kelly said as she drove off. Cypher isn't interested in me. Besides, I want to stop by the hospital to see Mom before we get to the mall. She said that she might be working late. So now you tell me, yep. The mall will be closing. Hello, Mrs. Toyle. Hi, Kelly. Mom, are you working late? I can either cook something for you and Dad, or I can pick something up on the way home for dinner. Where are you two heading? Mrs. Toyle, we were on our way to the mall, but it seems like the mall will be closing by the time we get there. Mrs. Toyle and the kids shared a laugh. Well, don't let me keep you. Oh. By the way, do you remember the young girl that went missing? You know you all attended Billings Day together, Abigail? They found her remains earlier today, and the authorities believe that wild animals were involved. Well, don't be late, and if you must, call me or your father. That goes for you too, Kelly. Really, Kelly? Tim, It was my fault, Tim. I had Kelly bring me by my mom's workplace. We're not making the movie, so I'm not really hungry, Tim bluntly stated. Why not look for the shirt for your brother's wedding? Kelly providing the alternative with an assuring smile. The trio then made their way towards the escalator. Hey whore, hey you bitch. Then as a group. What is this trash doing here? Ignore them, Karen. Why don't you leave us alone? Kelly said in a firm voice. Yeah, shouldn't you girls be on a construction site or something? Tim exclaimed. As they got off the escalator, Karen began to breathe deeply as if panic took over. Splat. Soda now covered Karen's face, hair, and the new sundress. Page 5. Karen fell to the floor, shaking and convulsing. Karen, are you okay? Somebody help, please help us. Kelly screamed as Tim stopped her from attacking Pamela and her friends. She's not worth it, Pamela. Get out of here before I kick all your asses myself, Tim said with a look of hate and disdain. Karen, your mom and dad are here with you, baby, please wake up. I know that you can hear me. We love you, Sharon and Peter said in unison. Mr. Toyle, Karen is suffering from a panic attack. Sharon, I need to know if there is a history of these attacks. The doctor requested as the orderlies place her on a bed from the gurney. Yes, but she hasn't had these attacks since she was young. We thought that it had passed. Sharon said with a look of confusion. Mrs. Toyle, it was Pamela and her friends. Sorry, threw a soft drink on her. Mrs. Toil, Tim and I tried to stop those girls, but I never expected them to do what they did. I was pissed and Tim had to hold me back. Bear, where are you? Karen requested as she returned to consciousness. Karen, you are safe, and we are here for you, baby, we love you. Peter, now holding back tears. What happened? Karen asked her parents. Kelly became overwhelmed with emotion, so Tim and Mrs. Toil escorted Kelly outside for some fresh air. Present day. Mrs. Anderson, this is Detective Scat, and he would like to ask you some questions regarding some of the past students. Hello, Mrs. Anderson. It is a privilege to meet you, and let me commend you on the edification of so many children. I was a student here, and although I didn't have you as a teacher, I can say that I received a good education here. Did not, so yes, I can see that you were not one of my students. However, thank you. Mrs. Anderson, I won't keep you, but I need to know about a student named Kimberly Swanson. What about Miss Swanson? She was a good student, did her homework and participated in class. I can't believe you called me here for this, Mrs. Anderson said with a look. Mrs. Anderson, Miss Swanson was murdered, and I apologize that you had to find out in this way. Dear Lord, she was just a child. How? I'm afraid that I am not at liberty to share the specifics with you. However, what I need from you is what was she like, who were the kids that she hung around with, and if there were any incidents that you can remember? Now that you mention it. There was one incident. Mrs. Anderson, I need for you to tell me everything that you can remember. There was a student, and she was struck with a rock during recess, and for the life of me I cannot remember her name. Because right after the incident the child transferred to J.T. Elementary School. Was she responsible? No, I believe that the girl's name was Abigail, but she was always with that group. What group, Mrs. Anderson? Well, there was Pamela Smith. She was the leader and the girls looked up to her. Then there was Abigail Peachtree, I think Meadows, Kimberly Swanson, and Kelly Burton. Page 6. Yes, that's it. Is there anything that you can remember regarding that day? No, detective, but I remember that the kids gave the young girl a hard time because she would have this security blanket. She always had this blanket with her. Thank you, Mrs. Anderson. I won't keep you, and your input with the case is very helpful. If we need to contact you at a later date, I have your information. I hope that you will find who did this, officer. I mean detective. Where are you? Blaine, I hope that you are sitting down when you hear this. What's up, Chip? I just left school, and I was just about to call you. I need to meet with you. The full report has been released, and I don't know how to put it in words. I'm heading for the station as we speak. The chief wants to see us, Blaine. Yeah, Chip, I think we caught a break. What the hell are you two doing? The city is asking for answers. These young women have no criminal records, not even a traffic stop. One of the victims works for the mayor's office. I cannot keep this quiet. Chief, we have a lead, Blaine stated firmly. Forensics believes that we have wild animals running around this town. Others are claiming aliens. Aliens? Really, guys? Chief, I spoke to a retired teacher, the only teacher who taught both victims in the same classroom. This case goes back, possibly 40 years, and maybe, or possibly 60 years? Chip glanced at his partner as if to say, good brother, at least save our pensions. Hold on, Chip makes sense out of this. Chief, the leads that we separately obtained while in constant communication. Morning through night, All leads were followed, and procedure was implemented. So Chief, our suspect, is the killer and will be brought before Judge Edelstein. Chip, I believe what both of my lead detectives present. I know what you are made of. But it's hard to tell these families. Why are they deprived of the right to bury their child with an open casket? These bodies were mangled, something no man could do, so how in the fuck could either one of you make me believe a 60-year-old tossed these women around, dragged them as if he was late for a flight, and still leaves no DNA? I'm stepping out on a limb here, Chief. I believe that one of the students committed these crimes. Allow me in, Chip, 48 hours? With one request? Blaine, the open warrant is waiting for you and your partner at the front desk. 48 hours beginning now. Chip, by the book. 5 years ago. Karen, do you have a minute? I can understand if you don't want to speak. I deserve that much. No, Kim, are you here with your friends? I stopped associating with them. I thought that Pam would change over time, but it's who she is. Karen, I am sorry for my part in all of this. Kim, if you have said all that you need to, I need to get back to work. How did you know how to find me? I work for the mayor's office across the plaza. I see you every so often across the green. Karen tosses her salad into the trash and walks into 9 West. A corporate tower consisting of financial advisors and corporate law firms. Page 7. Karen, wait. I would have found you. There is something you need to know, and I don't know how you will take it. But I have held this secret for too long. Kim, I really don't have time for childish games. I'm not the little fragile girl that you and your friends used to push around. Karen, Kelly hasn't been honest with you. The incident at the mall, years ago, was her idea. So, Pamela is an asshole. Tell me something I don't know? Not Pam, Kelly. This is a new one. No, Karen, Kelly was the one who set you up. We knew that you would be at the mall, and we had to wait because Kelly said that you were running behind. Karen stopped in her tracks and looked at Kim with intent. I'm sorry, Karen, I should have told you years ago. But you two were so close. Well, now that you've said it. Have a good day. Babe, your dad called, and he asked if it would be a good idea to plan the holidays here this year. Sai, you know that we've already reserved tickets. There's a 20% penalty if we cancel. Here, you might want to look at this. Karen began to dial. As Cypher reached out, Karen let him do this, for you. Cypher said in a reassuring voice. Babe, I have yet to hear. Wow, honey, the food looks great. It does, Sai, but I can't believe that my parents would put money into our bank accounts, covering the cost of our travel expenses. Babe, what I was thinking is that we still need to buy gifts for your parents, right? Meaning that since there is no limit on gift giving, why not give it back? Present day. Chief Alexander, this is Hobsmeyer. I believe that we have vital information and would like to meet with you and the detectives. How soon can you get here? I can be there in 1 hour. Okay, I'll have my guys here, and instead of my office, we will meet in the command and tactical conference room. Everyone, I think that you will all need to have a seat on this one. What I am about to reveal is far more sinister than the 2 murders in which is currently being investigated. Blaine looks down at his watch with 2 hours, now 46 hours and counting. Chip walks in with coffee and the chief stands next to the investigation breakdown board. There is no easy way to say this, but Blaine, you are correct. We believe that the first murder took place 40 years ago, Abigail Peachtree. A 9-year-old who went missing while playing in the woods in her backyard. Her body was discovered 20 years ago by construction workers. We obtained what little evidence we could, and within the hair samples, we found matching fibers. It gets better. Sari Meadows, age 18, was murdered in her parents' home. It was determined that she died by an animal attack. However, the case is still pending. Kimberly Swanson is where your investigation began. Hopsmeyer paused as a cell phone rang. Hello, Detective Scat? This is Mrs. Anderson. Give me a moment, guys. Hello, Mrs. Anderson. How can I help you? I went through some of my old school yearbooks, and I found the young girl whose name I could not remember. Her name is Karen Toyle. Page 8. I should have remembered. Oh. Well, you know Mrs. Anderson with so many children? No, detective, this girl had an attachment to this stuffed animal, and I thought it was a blanket. In fact, she took her yearbook photo with it. That's great, Mrs. Anderson. Do you think that you could bring the yearbook to the station? Yes. Thank you, and I will see you soon. Chief, we need to access all the information we can on a Karen Toyle. I believe that we have just found our suspect. An officer walks into the conference room and hands Blaine a manila folder. Chief, we are going to need a stakeout on Karen Toyle and Kelly. Who? Kelly Parsons is the only living link to all of the victims, beside Karen Toyle, and my gut tells me that Karen is our serial killer. Why not bring her in for questioning? The chief asked Blaine. Hopsmeyer said it perfectly. The killer has killed everyone on this list of friends. I believe that Miss Toyle was a victim of bullying, and she intends to exact her pain on those responsible for her being bullied. Hopsmeyer pointed to evidence that he placed on the table. Do you see these flakes? This is nothing more than a polymer or plastic shavings. However, the polymer was used to produce the paws of the stuffed bears. In fact, we thought that the victims were dragged. Now we know that the paw of the stuffed toy is the cause for those marks. The chief chimed in. It still doesn't answer why the last victim was moved after the act was committed. We will need to answer this question before a grand jury will even listen to our case. Chief, Miss Smith was killed in her home. From our investigation, it appears that the victim was revived several times, then bought throughout the home, tortured as the assailant went through a progression. Personal, Chip stated. Hello, Cypher, this is Kelly. I can't seem to connect with Karen. Is everything okay? Kelly, I don't know what to say, but one thing that I will. Is that Karen is her own person? I know that, but I thought that maybe she might have given some reason as to why she hasn't accepted my calls for years. Kelly, if it makes you feel any better. Karen is fine, and whatever took place between you and Karen happened during that holiday when you and her parents came for dinner. She has never mentioned your name again. So, your idea is more informative than mine, and besides, I'm on a business trip. Have a good day, Kelly. 9 p.m. Blaine and Chip are staking out the home of Karen Toyle. The front of the home was glass with high ceilings. In the affluent section of Billingstay. Blaine, is that the stuffed bear that she is walking through the house with? It appears to be something, Chip. See if there is any update with the other stakeout. Over the radio, Miss Parson just entered her residence. Roger that. There is one more. What are you saying, Bear? I promise to protect you, and after this, my promise will have been fulfilled. Bear, I will never leave you. You are a part of me. I know this is why I will not return. I will always be a part of you. Aw. Thank you, Bear. as Karen falls asleep on the couch in front of the fireplace. Page 9. Bear. Karen. Karen, this isn't funny. How did you get in here? Kelly's still in her bath towel and her hair wet and dripping. Bear now standing in front of Kelly at the size of a full-grown grizzly bear. With the strike of his paw, Kelly flies across the room. Karen, I'm sorry. I should have told you, please, Karen. Make him stop. What felt like minutes was actually a full half hour of excruciating violence. Then suddenly Kelly's lifeless body was thrown through the picture window. In front of the police stakeout team. Back up, send back up. The officers running towards the condo unit, guns drawn. Kelly Parsons has just been thrown through a window. No pulse, send an ambulance, the officer full of adrenaline. Backup arrives and the officers make their way into the condo. Blood was everywhere and everything in the home was destroyed or torn apart. Did anybody see anything? Make a perimeter 2 miles and close in, the supervising officer yelled out. As the officers secure the scene, neighbors begin to come out from their units with concern and safety. Because the killer or killers might still be in the area. Chip, let's move in. The detectives approach the front door as Blaine bangs on the door, startling Karen from a deep nap. Police open the door. Wait a minute, hold on, I'm coming, Karen shouted back. The door opens and guns drawn. Mrs. Toyle, we are going to need you to come with us. Why, for napping on my sofa? As Chip places the handcuffs on Mrs. Toyle. Mrs. Toyle, where is the stuffed bear? Blaine demanded. I have no idea of what you are talking about. I do not have toys in this house. Besides, I donated all of childhood memorabilia years ago. Now at the station, the chief calls in Scat and Thompson. Release Mrs. Toyle. Why, we have her. Blaine confidently stated. Was she at home when you arrested her? Yes, but we both saw her with a stuffed animal, and investigators are going through the house. We will find it. You mean this bear, tossing a plastic bag with smiley-faced bear soaked in blood? This is coming from the mayor's office. We can't place Mrs. Toyle at the scene because she never left her home. Your killer is sitting in that bag. The city is going to make a statement in the morning to connect the murders to a wild animal attack, and that the bear has been killed by wildlife rangers. Because even if she confessed, no jury will believe that this stuffed animal committed all of these crimes. Where did they find the bear? Chip asked with no emotion. Sitting in front of Mrs. Parsons' television. One of two things that were undamaged in the home. What was the other? You both are looking at it. The detectives make their way down to the interrogation room. Release Mrs. Toyle and have her brought up to the front desk, Blaine told the officer in booking. Mrs. Toyle, the department apologizes for the inconvenience and the reason for bringing you into the station. We have an ongoing investigation, and your name came up, and it is possible that you might be in danger because of it. However, after some checking, you are free to go. What are you saying, detective? You are free to go. Free. Karen retrieves her belongings, and as she walks out of the police station, she smiles and says, free. Page 10.